This is Mixed Talents, an initiative from Samsung that brings together two experts from different backgrounds to work on concussion in sport.
Hey Braden.
Alex, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for your time.
Of course. Let's get into it.
I've teamed up with Alan, a neuroscientist here in Australia. We're looking to address concussion in sport, which is quite a big problem. We get a lot of football players with residual problems from build-up of impacts. And to address this, we're looking at creating a wearable device that will collaborate the data based around their hits.
I'm really intrigued in the problem that you're trying to solve. My expertise is mostly in sensing. I've done sensing on wearables, but I work with all sorts of sensors. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about sort of how you're sensing concussions.
So the two critical areas are forward linear force that we need to measure, and also rotation as well. What you're seeing here is the head reciprocating the movements on the screen. We've got a simple configuration of gyroscopes and accelerometers, and I think this was the idea of just trying to get an understanding of what kind of data we were collecting and what we could do with the sensors that were available.
So I see you've got a couple of products that I worked on in front of you. You've got cardboard and glass, both of which took advantage of on-body sensing to do interesting things with interactions and to enable entirely new sort of abilities in technology. In both cases, we've made a lot of use of accelerometers and gyros. There are a couple of other things you might also consider, and I think this is sort of at the center of your challenge, is whether you want to sort of accurately capture the forces that a player is undergoing, or if what you want to do is you want to present to the larger audience that they've reached a dangerous point. And I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas, and I expect most of them to be bad. I'm just going to signal that up front. You could have just sort of charts, like almost like mileage charts. How much force have these guys sustained over the match? Especially because the message that you're trying to convey is concussions are cumulative. So what you could do is you could just show all the hits, and you can just see who's taking the biggest beating, not having it sort of celebrate the person who's highest. Have people worry about it. There are a lot of other ways you can visualize the impact. There are certain gels that change color depending on heat. An impact will generate a great amount of heat. So having a thermochromic gel that actually changes color, almost, I don't know if you remember those Hypercolor t-shirts.
Absolutely, I remember the Hypercolor, yeah.
It's terrifying that they had them in Australia. Bad taste travels the whole world.
Yeah.
So you could do something like that where you actually have, again, a physical substance that changes color, but then resets itself. What I would also recommend, the sort of breaking out of your assumptions, is to think, right now you're thinking about it as something that exists on a player and detects that player.
Yes.
It'd be interesting if the players were connected to each other. So when they hit each other, you can measure the force of one and the force of the other and possibly get more information than you would on either one. One approach to doing this sort of system in general is to break all the pieces into various parts, so they don't have to know about each other. And that's really where the intelligence comes in, is on the correlation side. So yeah. I know I had this force. Did I also have an acceleration? Yes. Was there also a rotation? Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was thinking, the direction that we might head in the sense of having a signature for what these hits look like. And it can be perhaps more like you suggest, it's a combination of sensors raising alarm.
It sounds like you guys are on the right path, and I'll really look forward to seeing what you come up with.
Thanks so much for your time, Alex. Really appreciate it, and we'll chat soon.
Sounds good.
Okay, see you, mate.
Braden, how are you?
Good, mate. I'm just up here at Google in Sydney and just met with Alex. He had heaps of really good ideas. I think what we need to do now is speak to some people who've had some real-world experience with concussion.
Absolutely, I can talk to a number of people.
Great. Okay, mate, well, we'll chat soon.